For our Tuesday thought, I want us to take a look at the Ascension of Christ, because in doing so, we're going to see the importance of always remembering his ascension. The last phrase of our verse says that he was taken up into heaven in glory. Here Paul challenges us to remember the ascension of Christ. When we remember the ascension of Christ, we look at the glory of his ascension. After accomplishing his earthly mission, Jesus ascended back to heaven and was enveloped in glory. He had this glory long before he was born in Bethlehem, and he returned to it. When we see him in glory, when we notice Jesus, we're going to notice a few things. First off, he will still have a body. His body will still be marked with the nail prints in his hands and his feet. The marks of his thorny crown will be impressed on his forehead. The stripes on his back will still remind us of eternal love for us. But we see him on that day, we will not see the lowly Nazarene. When we see him then, he will shine with a glory brighter than the sun. He is the light of heaven, and if you were to see him today, you would be awestruck by his glory, blinded by the brilliance of his being, and speechless in his presence. We serve a great and glorious God, and someday his servants, you and I, who love and know the Lord, will see him again. That reminds us also that we need to be aware of the grace of his ascension. When Jesus ascended, the Bible tells us he ascended and he sat down at the right hand of the Father. He sat down at the right hand of the Father. That tells us one thing. It tells us that he had completed his work and ascended back to his position with the Father. There at the right hand of God in heaven, Jesus makes intercession for you and for I as we journey through this land and head towards him. Jesus is there for us. It's been said it's good to have friends in high places. And thank God for him, the one who sits in high places, who pleads our case in the heavenly courtroom of glory, who prays for us, who is our advocate against the attacks of the evil one. That is a greater grace than we could ever imagine. But it also reminds us of the gravity of his ascension. When Jesus ascended back to heaven, he did so with the promise that someday he would return. The fact of his return for his people adds even more element of gravity to his return. For when he comes, he's not coming just for anybody. He's not coming for everybody. He's only coming for his people. He's coming only for those who are saved by his grace, who are washed in his blood. Therefore, friends, I pray that you know Jesus Christ as your Lord and your Savior. That you are sure of your salvation this day. That when he comes, you can join with him. He's bought and paid for you with a price. But in doing so, you may be with him with all glory and be with him for all eternity. We have nothing to fear, for Jesus paid it all. I hope and I pray that you know this, Lord. When we go to our Thursday thought, I want us to think about how can we honor this soldier of the cross who came in spite of knowing the odds were against him, that he would be literally entering into a life and death situation on our behalf, and yet was willing to do it anyway. How can we honor his sacrifice in such a way that we can give him glory and honor? How can we glorify Jesus who died on our behalf? That will be our Thursday wrap up. Till then, I pray that God's peace be with you. And I pray that you will know him, that he holds you in the palm of his hand. May God bless till we meet again on Thursday.